Some women choose to go gray gracefully. Others choose to battle every single strand. If you're a fighter, here's some ways to grapple the gray.
Some of us call them platinum highlights and some of us call them gray hairs, but in either case, they could be difficult to cover, and there are a few things you should know before you get started.
The gray didn't bother me, but most people would say, "You're gonna do something about that gray? You know you got all the gray in the front?" You know, so that's what prompted me to start coloring it in the first place.
Paulette has gray hair just around the very front. She doesn't want to change the color of her hair. She just wants to color the gray.
But Paulette's been coloring it for some time.
And so the longer you have gray hair, the more stubborn it becomes and coarser and more difficult to cover. And so permanent color is always better if you have coarse, stubborn gray hair.
Because I have so much gray, most times when you use something that's not permanent, it doesn't cover it all the way. I think I have a more youthful look. The gray also makes you look like you're not put together.
Millie Givens started going gray in her early 30s.
I started to come all across the front, and that was just not very attractive to me. It just made me feel like I was getting a little older, and I just didn't like it.
We picked semi-permanent color for her because she doesn't have a lot of stubborn gray. The gray is just around the hairline and it's isolated to just the very front. Semi-permanent is not a complete process, and so what happens is that color is made to fade and made to rinse away. The gray hair will appear to be lighter than her natural black hair and just look as though she's added a highlight to her natural hair.
A few people told me that I was looking a little maybe tired or not, so I was like, well, let me do something to kind of, spruce myself up and look a little bit more alive, I guess.
But Angelica wanted a more natural option.
Henna is good for anyone who's made the decision to change the color of their hair, to cover gray hair, but not interested in using the chemicals like peroxide and ammonia that you find in regular color.
It usually comes as a powder that you mix with hot water to a creamy consistency. Then apply it with a brush or gloved hands.
The henna is a little bit messier than your standard color. It takes a little bit more to apply. If you have dark hair, it may not lift your hair or change the color of your hair. It may only change the gray hair into the color that you've chosen.
But salon owner Tamika Fletcher says henna will give you shine and softness that most dyes don't.